Alicia Ordaz. It is Saturday, January 11th. We start with a live look at the wildfires in Southern California. This is the Palisades fire, and crews have been working to contain the flames as much as possible, with more winds expected this weekend. Meteorologist Kelly Curran has been tracking the conditions in Southern California and joins us live this morning. Kelly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Southern California is expecting more gusty winds, especially as we get into the overnight hours. But even by 10:30, notice Calabasas expecting wind gusts around 30 miles per hour. Same in the Pasadena area. Then, like I said, it gets stronger overnight. Look at this, midnight. Pasadena, 56 mile per hour wind gusts expected. And even as we get toward 5:30 in the morning, Malibu, now we're talking 59 mile per hour gusts. Then they start to diminish a little bit, at least as we get into the day on Sunday. But more gusty winds expected, like I said, for Southern California, and not just as we get into tonight, but also Monday and Tuesday, with more of those Santa Anas moving in. Here at home, we've got beautiful clear skies outside. We are also going to have to contend with some breezes, but luckily we've had moisture lately. So while our fire danger is low, it's, remember, never zero. Above normal temperatures will continue as we head throughout the rest of the week, and dry conditions as well. We don't have any rain in the forecast. Right now, 48 degrees in Sacramento. Not a bad start. Same in Yuba City. But again, we're dealing with these north breezes. So Yuba City, 21 miles per hour. Fairfield, 22. On top of that, we have those wind gusts. Fairfield, 22 mile per hour gusts being reported there. Now, if you're heading to the farmers market today, plenty of sunshine. We're going to see temperatures around 60 degrees at lunchtime. We'll take a look at the rest of the forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Kelly, thank you. This morning in Southern California, we're learning that even more evacuation orders have gone into effect. The death toll is now at 11, and more than 12,000 structures have burned. At least 180,000 people have been forced to evacuate. The fires have burned at least 56 square miles. That is more than half the size of the city of Sacramento. And crews are starting to gain ground on two of the largest wildfires. The Eaton fire is over 14,000 acres, and this one is burning in Altadena. Crews have it at 15% contained, and officials are reminding people that the water in evacuation zones is not safe to drink because of the fire debris contamination. The Palisades fire has burned over 21,000 acres. Containment on the fire grew to 11% as of the last update. But more evacuation orders went into place last night as the fire started to burn near a new neighborhood. The Palisades fire remains the biggest fire right now, and it's completely devastated the Pacific Palisades community. And KCRA 3's Melanie Wingo shows us the aftermath.
It's the fourth day in a row that the residents of Pacific Palisades are out of their homes and evacuated from this area that the Palisades fire blew through on Tuesday morning. And we've talked a lot about the damage and destruction that the homeowners have faced, the families who've been forced from their homes because their homes were destroyed by fire. But also what I've heard from the folks in this community are the things in the community that make it great and how they were affected. And check it out. This is one example of that. This is Marquez Charter Elementary School. And I spoke with the parent of a child who goes to this school yesterday, and she came to tears when she learned that the school that her child goes to is now destroyed. If you take a look at the front of the building, there's so much destruction here. It's crumbling off the facade. There are parts of the building that are still intact, but it appears to be a total loss. The fire blew through this area. And as you can see over here, all of the stuff in the yard of the school and all of the buildings that were part of the school are destroyed. Right across the parking lot over here, all of that was taken down by the Palisades fire also. So it's going to be a long way to go. And although the flames are out, we've also talked about the fact that those evacuation orders for this area are still in effect because there's so much utility infrastructure that's been compromised or destroyed in the fire. Take, for instance, these crews down here, those utility crews working on the water system here, because as you can see, the water is flowing, but it's not going to the homes right now because the homes are destroyed. The crews are working on that right now, and it's going to be a long road ahead. So that's a sense of another way the Palisades fire has devastated this community. Reporting from Pacific Palisades, Melanie Wingo, KCRA 3 News.
They're going to need a lot of help. Melanie, thank you. And President Biden says many people are unaccounted for and likely that the death toll is going to increase. Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco is tracking the federal response from our D.C. bureau. Jackie, good morning.
Good morning to you, Leticia. And President Biden also said, of course, that the federal government would provide every resource possible to both help fight these fires and help the survivors who are left behind. Now, that really started with his major disaster declaration now in effect, and Biden also directing the federal government to cover 100% of various firefighting costs incurred by the state for 180 days. The Defense Department, meantime, is also offering additional support on the front line, from active duty troops to Navy helicopters for fire suppression. And notably, FEMA says that they do indeed have the resources to respond after a recent injection of cash from Congress for disaster relief needs. Officials say those impacted by the fires, in fact, can start applying for critical needs assistance. That's an initial payment for supplies like food and fuel, and just one of many programs that officials say will ultimately be made available to survivors. Here's FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, who's on the ground in California this week.
Recovery from these fires is going to be complex. I've seen many disasters throughout my 4 years in this role. This is certainly one of the worst that I have seen.
Now, that rebuilding effort is going to largely be overseen by President-elect Donald Trump after he takes office later this month. California Governor Gavin Newsom now inviting Trump to tour the damage firsthand, adding in a letter on Friday, quote, "In the spirit of this great country, we must not politicize human tragedy or spread disinformation from the sidelines." Now, those comments appearing to nod to some comments that Trump made earlier this week, criticizing Newsom's response to these fires, and Trump even calling for him to resign because of all of this. Leticia?
So, Jackie, is there any chance that Trump could roll back any of the steps Biden has taken when it comes to these fires?
It's not entirely clear, Leticia, because it's true that in the past, Trump has threatened to withhold wildfire aid to California if Newsom didn't agree to certain policy changes. But also this week, when Trump was asked about the fire response more broadly, he did acknowledge when speaking to reporters that, they would have to work together on this rebuilding effort. So again, we'll see what happens. But as I mentioned previously, Biden has said that he would direct the federal government to cover 100% of various firefighting costs from the state for the next 180 days, even though Biden's only in office for about another 9 days. And so the FEMA administrator was asked during a press briefing yesterday if there's any chance that that could get rolled back. And she said she doesn't think so because, in her view, Biden has the authority to commit those funds now. But again, Leticia, we'll see what happens when Trump takes office later this month.
Jackie, thank you. And that FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell said they are providing regular briefings to the incoming Trump administration about the fire response. And we're going to continue to follow the developments in Southern California about those wildfires, both on air and online on the KCRA 3 app. Make sure you turn on push alerts to get the very latest sent straight to your